The book, I don't know how many people have read it. The book is, a little history, I was a journalist for 10 years and I was a foreign correspondent, and I left a job that was kind of very enviable to many. I was the Paris correspondent for the Telegraph. And lovely apartment, happy with my family, and I left it at the age of 32 to go to business school. And a lot of people thought I was crazy, what am I doing? And a few reasons why I did it. One was I could see the writing was kind of on the wall for newspapers. Secondly, I just didn't want to be a journalist for the remaining 30 years of my career. And thirdly, I wanted some control over my time and my financial destiny, which I think anyone, of a certain generation knows is not going to be provided by large companies these days. You kind of have to have a little more control, and I felt an MBA would give me that. So I invested 2 years, I uprooted my family, went and did this, paid the money, it's not cheap, and emerged the other end. And in many ways, grateful for the education. I thought it was interesting. I say in my book, HBS does a great job in many ways, but also sort of deeply ambivalent about the kinds of things I've been taught, a lot of what I'd seen, a lot of what I'd heard from people who I saw on campus, and these were people really in the rarefied air at the very top of capitalism. And that's what the book is about. It's about what I saw and heard, and my own ambivalence. And when I wrote it, I didn't, I've taken a lot of grief from Harvard, both publicly and behind the scenes, saying it's a scandal-mongering book. And I think it would be easy if it was that, if all it was cheap shots at MBAs. But it's not that. What it is it's about, and I get this from, the book has done very well in the States, done very well here. It's been sold in Korea, Japan, Brazil, China, Italy. It's just been sold in, and it's done very well. And I get these emails from all over the world, and not one of the emails says to me, I appreciated this as an attack on the MBA. Not one of the emails is from, a Naomi Klein reader or a Michael Moore reader saying, this is another great brick in the, against the glass of capitalism. What they all say is, I am in a job, I am thinking of going to business school, I am in business school, and there is a gulf between what I do and the kind of person I would like to be and the life I would like to lead. And I get this from students, I even get it from business school professors. I got one from a very eminent business school professor who said the reason a lot of business school professors are business school professors is because they're interested in business, but they also like the comfort of academia. So there's something schizophrenic about them. And I don't know if this is true, you can tell me this. But that's the response to it. And so is it a scandal-mongering book? I think some people can see it that way, but for me and for the people who seem to respond most intensely to it, it's a book about that ambivalence, about how one can live a fulfilling life in business. And I think a lot of people feel that quite deeply. I don't regret going at all. I thought it was fascinating, and I think everyone asked me this. Was it worth going? And was it worth going in the sense that I ended up with a job in investment banking or a private equity? Evidently not. Was it worth going because it's fascinating? And to spend 2 years at Harvard Business School is a really interesting thing to do, and one only has 10, and you may as well spend 2 years doing that. Yes, it was. As a journalist, one sees the world very much, the kind of journalist I was, you see the world very much in political, cultural terms, and to see the world the way business people see it is fascinating. It was fascinating for me, and was very interesting for me. And the issues I had with it were, as I said, cultural. They were about the priorities of some of the people I heard and spoke to. But it's not to denigrate that it was a very, very interesting experience. As I said in the book, it's like lifting the hood on on your car and suddenly seeing all the parts. That's the way I felt about my business education.